of the events or a repetition of the events that have taken place here in Los Angeles recently, we have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause. Dealing with the condition itself is not enough.
Dear Mr. Massa, I'm just trying to mind my own business. What's the matter? It's just another day, another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain, stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put two dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Samir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coon. The white man to go nuts if he can't shoot. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make
We are
sense.
denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyah.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queen.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Ahmadiyah.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your
Ahmadiyah.
skin?
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, given to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They're trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations, I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
I'm getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyah.
oppression and exploitation.
Queen.
Touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. It's me now. You're my truth now. Yeah. I'm here to speak and make it clear. I'm sorry, y'all, for all I've done. But I'm not the only one. In a dark place, I told some lies. But I'm not the only one. We all got secrets under the sun. In the shadows, we played the game. Now I'm standing here taking the blame. A lot of y'all was at the freak off too, so don't put it all on me. That's just the truth. I've been up and down this road trying to find my peace. Confessions of a man without a release. Oh, now, hey. In the mirror, I saw the truth hiding in plain view. I'm coming clean now, this burden to
undo. We were all there dancing shadows in the night, acting wrong when we knew what was right. But deep inside, there's more you must see. In this room of mirrors, it's not just me. I walk this path with heavy chains, trying to shed those sins, erase the stains. I've seen the highs and the pushing low, fading in the spotlight, that's how it goes. Here, hard on my sleeve, trying to clear the air, let the demons relieve. Every wrong turn and every mistake led me to this moment to let my soul quake. Ways apart in the shadows deep, lost in the game. It's promises to keep.
All right, hello everyone, Grand Rising. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen QueenAShakur show. I'm your host, Queen QueenAShakur, and this is a morning wake-up call. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Okay, let's get those likes up. Remember, it doesn't cost you a single thing. So let's get ready to get into it. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Dr_A_Shakur, TikTok at Dr. A Shakur, and Twitter at DGoddess27. All right. Now let's see who's all in here. Okay, Pearly, Most Hated Bronze Flat Power God, Claudette. All right, Stacy, Nita's and Mike's World. Okay, Courtney J, Miss AP in the house, Priscilla Lewis. All Hell No, Pauline. All right, Miguel Varner. Okay, let's get into it. Nessie X. Everyone, please get those likes up. Y'all know I love me some Loyal Royals. So let's get it popping. So we already know that Diddy was denied bail yet again on yesterday, and that's due to his own nefariousness. Now, his attorneys were trying to pull out all the stops, trying to do and say anything that could possibly get him out of there, but the judge wasn't having any of it. Now, one thing that I thought was interesting was that one of the conditions they were trying to say they would stick to is they said they would give Diddy 24-hour monitoring. Okay, they would have added security. There would be no telephones and no internet and all of that. Yeah, right. And then, but also, Diddy said there was a proposal for no female visitors. No female visitors. But what about the guys, though? Okay, because we know Diddy likes both. Okay, so here's what he said. Diddy, I promise no female visitors if you let me out on bail. Clearly desperate. And so at 12:16 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, federal prosecutors have fired back responding in court documents that claim Diddy is just too dangerous to be walking out on the streets, no matter what the rap mogul's lawyers say or do. Now, as the prosecutors pointed out, Diddy repeatedly obstructed justice during the investigation, not to mention is still an alleged flight risk. Now, they claim Diddy is capable of coercing witnesses to comply with his demands. And here's the thing. Like I told you all on yesterday, Diddy's attorneys were lying, saying that Diddy was cooperating with the feds, but Diddy was obstructing justice. Okay, now according to the transcripts, which I'll get into in a moment, I'm not going to read all of it because it's a lot, but I'll tell you this. According to the transcripts, Diddy had been reaching out to people, witnesses who had subpoenas, been doing this since 2023. Okay, so he had been doing this. Now, Kalina Harper is just one of the latest. Okay, but that's what got him into trouble. And his lawyers were sitting there trying to tell all these lies. But I'll get into that in a second. Now, goes on to say they also voiced concerns that Diddy could consume drugs or throw his so-called freak parties if he's out on bail, despite the rapper's promise that he wouldn't have any female visitors. So they clearly didn't believe him. Now, Diddy is taking another swing at getting out on bail, and he's upping his offer to the court, declaring that he will forego contact with almost all women while he's out. Now, in docs obtained by TMZ, Diddy's legal team says if he's released on bail, the security company that keeps a log of all visitors to his Miami Beach home will hand over those logs to the government nightly in order to be fully transparent about who Diddy is contacting. They also say Diddy will limit all visitors to family, property caretakers, and friends who are not co-conspirators in the federal indictment. Now, here's the question. How do they know who's the co-conspirators? Try to pay attention. How do they know who would be deemed as co-conspirators, especially if Diddy didn't do anything illegal? Do you see how foolish this is? I want you all to pay attention. Now, this is when you dry snitch on yourself. They literally said, including the co-conspirators. Who are those? This is all really crazy. You can't make this stuff up. But this is what they said. Okay. And friends who are not co-conspirators in the federal indictment. So the friends who are the co-conspirators won't be invited. How would you know which ones are which? This is all crazy. Now, specifically, they said Diddy will restrict female visitors, with the only exceptions being family members or mothers of his children. Clearly, Diddy and his attorneys are attempting to address the court's concern that he will contact or intimidate witnesses, because that's all he's been doing thus far, allegedly. No, it's not allegedly. There's proof, which I'll get to in a second. Further, Diddy also states in the docs that he will have no contact with any grand jury witnesses, and he's also agreeing to weekly drug testing. And his drug use is a central component of the indictment, which alleges his freak-off SEX parties were fueled by Coca-Cola, ketamine, GHB, MDMA, or ecstasy, and other narcotics. Plus, the feds say they found drugs in his New York City hotel room when he was arrested on Monday night. Now, Diddy's financial offer remains the same in the new bail package, $50 million secured by his Miami mansion and his brother's homes. So that's some of the things he was trying to, offer in the hopes that they wouldn't lock him up. But nonetheless, he's still sitting in jail. He is still sitting in jail, honey. This is all crazy. Clearly desperate. Not to mention, they said up there, look at y'all, 1,000 bottles of baby oil. Diddy sponsored by Johnson & Johnson. Okay. Remember that song, 100 bottles of beer on the wall? Yeah, that's it. 1,000 bottles of baby oil. Okay. I cannot imagine. Why do you need all of that? But anyway, I digress. So now let's keep going, because the twins, there's more information. But first of all, let me just say this. Hold on. Now, he was saying that no females would be allowed. They could monitor him, have the security, give them all the paperwork so they can be transparent and all of this stuff. And at the end of the day, it's just the fact that they said Diddy's too dangerous, that no matter what Diddy says, it's the fact that the judge saw that video of Cassie. Now, the judge continuously brought that up in the transcripts as I was reading over them. The judge continued talking about that video. That video showed that Diddy is violent. So basically, they said that it not only showed that he was violent, but that he could snap at any time. Okay, basically saying he was unpredictable. Okay, now even though his team tried to twist it around and act as though Cassie was the aggressor and tried to paint it as if her and Diddy had this toxic relationship where they both put hands on each other but said they were in love. And you know what the judge told his counsel when they said that? The judge said, "What's love got to do with it?" That's what the judge said. What's love got to do with it? Okay, because at the end of the day, even if they were in a toxic relationship, and even if Cassie had put hands on him at any point, does that make the excuse for why he did all the stuff he did to her in that hotel hallway? Of course it doesn't. And here's the thing. Like I said, text messages have been leaked that came from Diddy right after that incident. So all these lies are just coming out. Diddy just has nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Not to mention, I told you all yesterday that he already admitted that he was the one did all that stuff in the hotel, that he was the aggressor when he gave that bogus apology. When he apologized and said he was in a dark place and all of that, now how then can you come back and have your attorneys trying to say and imply that Cassie was the aggressor, that she's the one who started all this stuff? It's all so crazy. So anyway, we're going to go over these details thoroughly. But first, let's talk about the twins, because his twins are not even there at the family residence any longer. They're gone. Okay, they're gone. So let's talk about it. Likes up, everyone. Please don't forget to like and share. Thank you in advance. Twin daughters hang back in Cali, and they're cared for by late mom's friend. So one of Kim Porter's closest friends by the name of Lala is the one who now has the daughters in her custody. Diddy's sons are in New York watching their father go through an indictment and court proceedings. But his teenage daughters are hanging back in California with a family friend. Now, sources familiar with the situation tell TMZ Diddy's teen twin girls, 17-year-old Delilah and 17-year-old Jessie, are currently in Los Angeles under the care of their late mom's friend, Lala. Okay, they said this was Kim's best friend. They say we're told that Lala has acted as a caregiver for the girls for several years, though she is not a legal guardian. Now, TMZ broke the story. Kim was found dead. The story about Kim Porter. Kim was found dead inside her Toluca Lake home in November of 2018. Now, our sources say the girls are currently attending school in LA, and Lala oversees her day-to-day schedules. We're told that Lala does her best to protect the girls and keep the outside noise away, and she acts as a mother figure. And as was first reported, Diddy was arrested Monday in New York and indicted on sex trafficking, racketeering, and kidnapping charges. He appeared in court Tuesday and pled not guilty, but is being held without bail. Okay, so these girls are so beautiful. They look so much like Kim and Diddy. Okay, they look like Kim and Diddy. Hold on, I'm going to share my screen so you all can see this picture of them. Aren't they just lovely? Beautiful young ladies. You know, I really feel bad for the children now that all of this is going on. But hey, this is what Diddy, he made his bed and he has to lie in it. Okay, that's what he did. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Now, with that all being said, an insider came out and spoke about what Cassie's been going through. So let's talk about that. While I'm getting this queued, let's have a word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes. So likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
All right, so you can order your 12 Tribes on Etsy.com, go to Lisa Crafts, and you can also purchase it at Walmart.com. Okay. So with that all being said, since Cassie's lawsuit, 7 more women and 2 men have sued Diddy, accusing him of sexual harassment, non-consensual corn with a P, okay, trafficking, and rape. So on September the 10th, Dawn Richard filed another federal lawsuit accusing Diddy of battery, harassment, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and unlawful imprisonment, and claims she witnessed him abusing Cassie. Now, on Monday, September the 16th, Diddy was arrested. Hold on, I'm not going to read all of this. Let me scroll down to the part. While Diddy and his lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, maintained his innocence amid these legal troubles, details from Cassie's 2023 lawsuit closely match the graphic security footage released and his subsequent video apology. Remember, I told you guys that the video of what he did to Cassie in the hotel added up to some of the things that were alleged in her lawsuit. Okay. So according to, hold on, let me see something real quick. I bet I forgot to upload. Hold on, beloveds. Okay, I knew I forgot to upload something. Okay, I'll go back and get that in a second. But anyway, according to a source obtained by People, here's where Cassie currently stands amid the latest news of Diddy's arrest. They say the amount of courage it took for Cassie to speak out and to be one of the first to speak out can't be underscored enough, they say. Now, this is what they say an insider says about Cassie, says that it was terrifying in a very real way. There have been so many people protecting Diddy for so long, and it's not an exaggeration to say that her life was in danger through all of this. Now, the source went on to explain that the past year has been challenging for Cassie and her supportive husband of 5 years, Alex Fine, with whom she shares 2 daughters. They say it's been really, really hard for her and for Alex as well, but he has been the biggest support. They say she was very hopeful that justice would come. Now, over the past year, Cassie has maintained this perspective of hope. Following the release of the 2016 footage that showed her being physically abused, Cassie wrote in a May 23rd Instagram post saying, "The outpouring of love has created a place for my younger self to settle and feel safe now. But this is only the beginning." Domestic violence is the issue. It broke me down to someone I never thought I would become. With a lot of hard work, I am better today, but I will always be recovering from my past. Now, I want you all to think about this. They said Cassie was terrified this whole time and that her life was always in danger. Now, I'm sorry. Do you all see why the judge would not want to let him out? And then the nerve of him to sit there and try to act like Cassie's the problem when all along it was him. Okay? When all along it was him. Now, with that I've been said, hey, OG Patrice, hey, Jeff ATL. All right, that crazy bitch Aries in the house. Okay, so with that I've been said, listen, I'm going to let you all listen to something because I need to upload something real quick. Hold on. Okay. I'm going to let you all listen to this audio with this legal expert weighing in on Diddy. Then we got to get into Faizon Love, okay? Because there's some celebrities coming out. You know, Boosie came out and left this long post basically saying, just to summarize it, he was basically saying that, you know, Diddy got arrested for doing something that most celebrities do, flying women out and all of that. You know, what's interesting to me, and Faizon Love, you know, I'll get into what he said, but this is real interesting to me what some people are saying. Okay, it's really interesting what people are saying. This is not just about people being flued out. It's not just about that. Did they not read the 14-page indictments? I'm sorry, what part of the game is it okay for you to fly people out and then ply them with copious amounts of drugs against their wishes and will, unbeknownst to them, get them high as a kite, and they're clearly unconscious, and then you do things to them and record it? What part of the game is that? I have several questions. Okay, but anyway, I digress. Like stuff, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Now I'm going to put an overlay on the screen. And then I'm going to play this audio and then we'll get into what Faizon Love had to say. Okay, here we go.
This is Project 2025.
Hold on. Let me get rid of this. Let me let this advertisement finish up first. Okay, here we go.
Allegedly harmed people. And if they want to go out and arrest them and do it in that manner, that's their prerogative. And frankly, that's so right. So
now, I'm sorry. He was, just to give some context or some backstory, this legal expert right now is explaining, you know, when he was asked, how did he feel about them arresting Diddy on Monday night rather than allowing him to just turn himself in on Tuesday? He said that's their right. If they felt the need to do so, then that was their prerogative to do so. Okay.
for them to say, well, he was going to turn himself, he was going to do this, he was going to, we don't know what he's going to do because he, right after or near the time when this first search warrant was done at his place in LA, apparently he got on a plane and flew down to Florida. So he's already shown a propensity to move when there's pressure. So I think the New York authorities thought, well, we got to make sure we get this right. We don't want to take any chances of a flight from the.
Sorry, hold on. Okay, here we go. Excuse me.
From this guy, because if they tried to track him down in a foreign country, it would be an absolute.
By the way, I was talking last night about this, and I was asked, why didn't you just leave the country? right? He knew the charges were coming. Why didn't he just leave the country? And I said, well, the authorities could have arrested him immediately on the spot if they knew. But would that mean that they were tracking him beforehand? They knew when he was boarding a flight? And he's been moving around, right? He hasn't just stayed in one place during the course of this investigation. What would have prevented him from getting on the plane, having a flight plan for, I don't know, let's say California, let's say Colorado, let's say New York, and just saying, keep going and go to some country that doesn't have extradition? What prevented him from doing that? And what would be the way authorities could track him and stop him from doing that?
Well, to do that, it takes a lot of moving parts because he's going to have to get pilots that are going to participate in that, conspiracy to flee. The pilots also have to file a flight plan. They also have to pick a country to go to that's going to be friendly to his issues, that's not going to extradite him. And he also, when that plan is filed, then he has to go through a process with Customs and Border Protection to be, in terms of being able to go to the next country. So I'm sure he had considered that, and I'm sure he took the advice of his lawyers and decided not to do that, because if he had fled, then this would have amplified, and then the full force of the United States government would have come down on tracking him down and bringing him.
Do you think they were tracking him though? Like, not necessarily like they had a surveillance team watching him at all times, but do you think investigators, do you think federal authorities kind of knew what he was doing?
Well, I think based upon the number of people who have come forward in terms of the indictment, I think they had people that were likely reporting on him, reporting on his actions and his movements, as well as the fact that they put so many resources to this. It would be reasonable for them to be watching his phones, watching his computer activity, and frankly having more people around him who are informing on him and his behavior.
I want to go into some of the evidence now and talk about what could be the strongest pieces. And to be clear, it's not entirely evident what the prosecution has, what people said to them, what the physical evidence is, what the digital evidence is, but let's go through it. So the prosecution says that many of the accusations against Combs can be corroborated by witnesses. And this is mentioned several times in the prosecution's letter to Judge Robin Tarnowski, where they were arguing against bail. For example, on page 2 of that letter, it says, quote, at least a dozen witnesses will confirm that they personally observed the defendant's violence towards women and or the injury sustained by women at the defendant's hand. Then on page 11, it says dozens of victims and witnesses have provided detailed, credible, and corroborated information against the defendant. Page 13, quote, as to witnesses to date, the government has conducted interviews with over 50 victims and witnesses, many of whom saw or experienced the defendant's abuse. The government only expects that number to continue to grow, given that the investigation, which is now public, is ongoing. So, Colin, how does law enforcement even go about this? Finding these people, conducting these interviews? What do you think that's about?
Well, 2 points here. Number one, he corroborated his behavior himself with that video that came out of him assaulting his girlfriend in the hotel, which was somewhat hard to watch as a father of a daughter and as somebody who's been in law enforcement. Secondly, you talk to one person, and the most basic question you ask at the beginning, middle, or the end of the interview, is there anybody else? Oh, yeah, I have this girlfriend that also suffered this type of behavior from him. And then you go to that person. Then, oh, yeah, I got this person. I get this. So it ends up being a string or a network of people because, frankly, these women are most likely associates with each other or know each other. And they may even be close friends. And they've been in the circle that was basically targeted by Sean P. Diddy Combs.
Okay, I'm going to stop right there. Now, we can go back to it. We can go back to that at some point and get back into it. But here's the thing. Diddy's lawyers, I don't know what have they been drinking or smoking, but they're doing a terrible job. And they got caught lying to the judge. Listen, first of all, I wrote down some of the stuff so I don't forget. Now, So, like I said, they said that he was contacting witnesses all the way back in 2023. And as far as Kalina Harper is concerned, they said that he actually was going back and forth with her, contacting her 128 times. Now, previously they said it was like 54 times that he had called her or text or whatever. But no, they said it's like 128 times that they were having communication. So I find this all crazy. And what was he contacting her for? Well, the lawyers tried to cover for him. So when the judge asked why was he contacting this woman, Kalina Harper, and basically Diddy's attorney said, well, we reached out to her because she had some concerns about her name being mentioned in Don Richards' filings, and she was concerned about the way she was represented in the filings. So the judge said, well, if that's the case, why did Sean Combs have to reach out to her also? Then they didn't have any answer. You see, they were trying to act as though they're the ones that were calling her all those times. The judge already knows. And here's the thing. They have numerous recordings and text messages from these people that Diddy was reaching out to that are witnesses who were subpoenaed. He was reaching out to these people. He knew he wasn't supposed to be doing it. How do you know that he knew he shouldn't have been talking to them? Because he said it on the phone. He was telling some of them, listen, I'm not supposed to be talking to you. He was calling people, trying to convince them that the things that happened were in fact consensual, that there's nothing illegal, there's nothing wrong. This was all consensual. This is what you wanted to do. Like trying to manipulate people, like just trying to brainwash them. Who does he think he is? Jim Jones 2.0? Just want you all to pay attention. James Ellis said, Queen, I'm waiting to hear about Fahim Muhammad. Oh, yeah. I'm wondering where he is right about now, beloved. Okay. But here's the thing. So the lawyers are sitting there trying to lie for him, talking about they reached out to Kalina because she had concerns about things that how she was represented in the lawsuit filings by Don Richard. Well, the only way she was represented is if she was a witness who possibly saw Diddy brutalize Cassie on more than one occasion and tried to intervene. But I guess because Diddy has put something in her ear, and had been reaching out to her, he likely was scared her or whatever, because then she came out, remember, and said that wasn't her truth. That was Dawn's truth. But now we find out that he's been talking to this lady at least 128 times. And the lawyers can sit there and try to lie all they want, but the judge wasn't trying to hear any of it. This is all crazy. And here's the thing. So the judge said, that they said they had the third party. Hold on. Oh yeah. So here's the thing. So they were trying to frame the freak offs, right? They were trying to say, the attorneys, that is, they were supposedly trying to say that the freak offs were just consensual, and that they were just having people to come and just having a good time. Basically, I'm paraphrasing. And so then the judge told the attorney, said, well, you already said that they would have third parties come and join. Okay, you said that they would have third parties who were SEX workers. You said that they would come and join. Isn't that SEX trafficking? Okay, because that's illegal. They're SEX workers. This is prostitution. So you're saying that your client was engaged in this illegal activity. Even if you're trying to say that it wasn't trafficking, you're still admitting that your client did something nefarious. So the judge asked him about that, said, but didn't you say that they were having these things going on and they were bringing a third party, SEX workers? Isn't that SEX trafficking? To which the attorney replied saying, I spoke to the agency and they said, to their knowledge, they don't have SEX. They don't do that. So trying to act as though they're just escorts and that they don't go there to actively engage in SEX with people. Did he forget that the feds, Homeland Security investigators, when they went there and conducted the raids on the 25th, that they gathered evidence, and on that evidence is some of the SEX workers engaged in SEX acts with DIDDY. This is all crazy. Like, how do they think any of this makes sense? And this Mark Agnifilo is supposed to be such a good, prominent, high-profile criminal defense attorney. What is going on here? Are they trying to sabotage their own client? Because this is all crazy. But hold on, because I want you all, hold on. I'm going to get to the text in a minute because I can't wait for y'all to read this text. Now what I'm about to do is I'm going to read you all some of the transcripts from court. Okay, likes up, everybody. Please like and share. Hold on, let me get this stuff together so I'm not all over the place. I'm going to try to do this in order. Okay, here we go. Let me see where I'm going to start. Okay, I'm going to start right here. Okay, so look, I'm going to put something up on the screen. Well, I read this to you guys, okay? And then we're going to talk about those texts that have been leaked. Because when I tell you, this is all so crazy. Like stuff, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, here we go. So, Attorney Agnifilo says Mr. Combs knew he was under investigation and gave us his passport. This is not defense lawyer theater. We took the passports of 5 of his family members. We have a letter of intent to sell his airplane. We had 3 buyers who didn't work out. Now, I read some of this yesterday, like a couple of these lines. Now, Agnifilo says, having Sage Intelligence on site will do what we have to do, even 3 there. If it doesn't, if I don't believe that Mr. Combs' actions, if I don't believe Mr. Combs' actions in coming to New York are only about risk of flight, it shows he is deeply respectful of the court's authority. He is responsible. Now, there will be a visitor log. Only pre-approved would come in. He would have to give the list to the court, and Mr. Combs will not have a cell phone or access to the internet. That way, no witness intimidation, completely nullified. So just trying to do everything to ensure the judge that he's not going to be intimidating witnesses anymore. They're pulling out all the stops. Then he goes on to say, I have brought today the head of Sage Intelligence. We are proposing that Sage Intelligence personnel, all former law enforcement, will be monitoring the residence of Mr. Combs 24/7. They will have 1 or 2 employees here there at all times. Now, Combs' second attorney, Teeny Garrigo, says Miss Harper felt she was being besmirched. Not besmirched. Now they're talking about Kalina because the judge wanted to know what the hell was Diddy doing calling this woman and contacting her 128 times. So Teeny Garrigo says Miss Harper felt she was being besmirched. We did speak with her at 2 a.m. on the 11th. The judge says, after speaking, what would be the reason for Mr. Combs to continue contacting her? Garagos then says, she was concerned she was in the media. Just lying. And the judge knew they were lying. Then AUSA says the defendant should be detained pending trial. Then the judge looks at Diddy's team and says, defense? Like, do y'all have something to say? To which his attorney, Mark Agnifilo, says, let me start with Miss Harper. I was called by her and her lawyer. I said, do what you want, make a statement or not. I later found out that she did. So he's claiming that he spoke with Kalina Harper and her lawyer, which he probably did, but that still doesn't have anything to do with the fact that Diddy was communicating with her 128 times. Now, AUSA says traveling to New York does not address danger to the community. I'm here seeking detention, but I note that the bail package does not have enough conditions that focus on obstruction, and it couldn't. He's been involving other people. AUSA then says, we didn't deal with Lawrence Ray's case. Magistrate Judge Fox ordered detention, even on 1 victim. But the judge found that corroborated by documentary evidence. The judge says, anything else? AUSA says, a few more things. The judge says, how many? AUSA says, 3 minutes. Then AUSA says, I'll go over the cases. Judge Carter says, that's not necessary. I'm familiar with those cases. AUSA says, a recent civil suit. Last week, Dawn Richard filed a civil suit. She was in a band, also with Miss Harper. Now, Miss Harper issued a statement after 128 phone contacts. So Diddy was definitely pressuring her to come out and say something to counter what Dawn had alleged in her filings. Now, AUSA goes on to say the defendant wrote that his financial advisor should not make a mistake and not get that rent paid. This was obstruction. We cite U.S. versus LaFontaine, a defendant who fed a false narrative. That's what's going on here. So basically, Diddy is just doing, oh my God, Diddy is so stupid. Like he thinks he's so smart. Now he's just doing anything and everything. It's just getting Just getting busted on all ends, okay? Sitting there saying he wrote his financial advisor, wrote saying that his financial advisor should not make a mistake and not get that rent paid. That's code speak, just so you know, okay? That was a subliminal. Now, AUSA says the defendant called her and gaslit her, trying to convince her it had been consensual. He repeatedly said that he was not supposed to be speaking on the phone. He tells the witness not to text him. The defendant said, if support me, nothing to worry about. Money. So this is what he was telling one of the subpoenaed witnesses on the phone, just gaslighting them and telling them everything was consensual, trying to convince her like she wasn't there and doesn't really know what happened. And of course, she probably didn't know exactly what happened because these people were drugged, allegedly. And so with that all being said, he told her, I'm not supposed to be speaking to you on the phone. Don't text me. Wow. And then says, if you support me, you don't have anything to worry about. And then says money. A hot mess. Now, he recorded the conversation on another person's phone. In November of 2023, he twice called a victim. So he was doing this, like I told you all the way back in 2023, okay, in November. So this is right after Cassie filed her lawsuit. So on November the 19th, he received a text from this other person in response. It reads, I feel like I'm reading my own sexual trauma. 3 pages, my experience. Judge Carter says 13 people or 13 contacts with 2 people. AUSA Johnson says, sorry, 14 contacts between the defendant and the witness. Also, he outreached to a witness he had not been in contact with for several years after the grand jury subpoena. He used intermediaries. Now, they know all of this because, as I told you, these people who Diddy was reaching out to that he wasn't supposed to be communicating with, they recorded him and they also screenshot his text and things. He's so stupid and so done. But let me continue. So AUSA says they have directly contact a victim in November of 2023. Constant contact with witnesses to the charged conduct after subpoenas, before government interviews. 2 of these examples are there are communications between the defendant and a witness, 13 of them. Now, Judge Tarnowski found that she did not believe defense counsel can control their own defendant. Consider the Mercedes case in this circuit, reversing the decision to release a defendant. Let's turn to obstruction. Witnesses have expressed extreme fear of him. This is what the judge said. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's what AUSA told Judge Tarnowski, that to consider the case of consider the Mercedes case in the circuit, reversing the decision to release the defendant. And let's turn to the obstruction. So that's what they wanted to get him on to keep him from getting bail, is point to the obstruction case, the obstruction that he'd been causing. And then said the witnesses have expressed extreme fear of him. AUSA said, here are some texts. When you get effed up, now this is a text that someone sent Diddy. Okay, they said, when you get effed up, you knock me around. I'm not a rag doll. I'm someone's child. We have witnesses who witness injuries. This conduct happened behind closed doors in houses, hotel rooms, and cars. Judge Tarnowski was very concerned. Now, the defense was arguing that anyone in a freak-off wanted to be there. That's not the law. When people are threatened with exposure and are beaten, they cannot consent. That is trafficking. Victims' heads were slammed against car windows. That's what AUSA said in response to what Diddy's attorney said. Trying to act like the people were at the freak-offs of their own free will. Now, some of them likely were, but some of these people, according to the indictments and accusations from other victims, say that they were drugged and intimidated and other things. Okay, so anyway, AUSA says our investigation is ongoing. Half a dozen escorts is just the tip of the iceberg of the number of escorts who have participated in these freak-offs. This case is charged as a sex trafficking by force, fraud, and coercion. The acts were not consensual. The indisputable evidence makes clear you cannot take the defendant at his word. March 5th of 2016 is far from the defendant's lone act of violence and obstruction. Now they're talking about that video with Cassie. Freak-off activity is the core of this case. They used force, coercion, and drugs. Now he covered up what he did. This year, after the surveillance video came out, only then did he admit that it was him. This is what AUSA is saying. Yesterday, it was claimed that his clothes were taken. But that's not what happened. Why drag the victim back down the hall to the hotel room? See, they are busting him all the way out. That's what you ought to pay attention because this is all so juicy, honey. This is all so juicy. Do y'all hear me? Do y'all hear me? This is all so nefarious. Now I want you all to pay attention because Diddy's sitting up here telling all these darn lies, and who's falling for it? Nobody. Now they're sitting up there trying to act as though the freak offs were legit. Like all these people really volunteered to come there and get beat the hell up, get drugged, unconscious, wake up with strange people in the bed with them, like Lil Rod said. Okay, pay attention. SEX workers they don't even know, never seen. Recorded without permission or consent, only to be blackmailed later. Like, this is all crazy. How do they think this is going to fly? Lamar said, just say no. M. Shady said, it's greasy like that baby oil. Okay, Noel said, Queen, they sound ignorant. Yes, and these are high profile attorneys. I can't believe some of the things they're saying. This is all a debacle, okay? This is all a debacle. I absolutely cannot. But hold on. Now, let me pull up those text messages from poor Cassie that Diddy sent to poor Cassie after he beat the brakes off of her in that hotel hallway. See, that's how they got him dead to right. Because here's the thing. See, the lawyers have made fools of themselves and of Diddy when they sat there and tried to put this all on Cassie. But remember, you guys remember, you know that I told you this, right? You heard it here first. Didn't I, in fact, tell you guys that when that hotel video footage was leaked, that was good for Cassie because her defense attorneys could say if they tried to drag her into any of the criminal activity that she likely did engage in, but not by her own will, but because she was coerced, intimidated, brutalized, or whatever in fear of Diddy. And I said that they would be able to use the video to prove that Cassie was a victim, that she was coerced, that she was manipulated, that she was fearful. And so they wouldn't, she wouldn't get into trouble. And then I said that Diddy's team is going to try to destroy her credibility. Don't you all remember that? And say that, oh, Cassie was doing it too. She was doing the same thing. I told you that's why I said she could be listed as an unindicted co-conspirator. Now they're trying to act like she's possibly a co-conspirator because they're sitting there saying that she was just as toxic as him. She was just as violent as him. She's the one who beat him, hit him, and then took his clothing and was trying to leave the hotel with his clothes in her bag. What kind of sense does that make? And just like the AUSA said, if that were the case, why did he beat her and then drag her back to the hotel room? Why would he want her to come back if she was such a terror to him, going upside his head, taking his belongings? You see how it makes no sense? It's all crazy. Like up, everyone. Please like and share. But this is what was the icing on the cake. Hold on. Hold on. Let me find those darn text messages. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance. This has to be it right here. Yeah, here it is. Okay. I have so many receipts I can't keep up sometimes. Okay, here it is right here. Now let's talk about it. Sean Diddy Combs will remain in jail until his federal trial on SEX trafficking racketeering charges, as shocking text messages following his attack on ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura were revealed in court. And how cracked was his face, okay? How cracked was his face? Now here's what the text messages said. And this is right after he brutalized her. Mind you, now I want you all to keep this in mind because as you sit there and think about how the lawyers tried to act like Cassie was the devil and she's the one that started the whole thing. But oh, only for these text messages to be exposed right in court. How stupid did they all look? Now, Diddy's lawyers told District Court Judge Andrew Carter that he was not a flight risk or dangerous, but the request was denied with the judge reasoning there is no condition or set of conditions that would ensure the safety of the community or that Diddy would not contact witnesses. Now, the prosecution shared alleged text messages from Diddy to his ex to strengthen the argument that he should remain behind bars until trial. This is why he's still sitting there. Now, the court heard Diddy allegedly text Cassie Ventura saying, call me, the cops are here. Now, this is after he whooped her butt. Listen, call me. The cops are here. I got 6 kids. You, please call. Surrounded. You're going to abandon me all alone? Woo, how do you say what? I'm sorry. Did y'all hear that? Absolutely cannot with the dick. Now, honey, he is nefarious. Okay, let me read that again. Wow, Diddy, you went out bad, honey. Okay, this is all. He was in a dark place. Hold on. He was in a dark place, remember? Don't blame him for it. Here's what he said. I absolutely cannot stop laughing. He said, call me. The cops are here. I got 6 kids. You, please call. I'm surrounded. You're going to abandon me all alone? Should have been thinking about those 6 kids when you was going upside Cassie's head and throwing vases and all that. So anyway, this is all so crazy to me, okay? So that's what he sent to Cassie right afterward. Talk about he got 6 kids. But I digress. So with that all being said, let's continue. Like up, everyone, please like and share. Now, with that all being said, so in court yesterday, prosecutor Emily Johnson read out text messages from other alleged victims. Prosecution used the messages to argue that Diddy should not be granted bail. Johnson read a text message from a woman who claims Diddy dragged her down a hallway by her hair. Of course, that was Cassie. Now you always want me. Now this is what Cassie said to him when he was texting her or leaving those messages and leaving messages. She said, you always want to show me that you have the power and you knock me around. I'm not a rag doll. I'm someone's child. Okay. Another alleged victim messaged Diddy after reading the allegations made in Cassie Ventura's lawsuit in November, according to the prosecution. And she said, I feel like I'm reading my own sexual trauma. Now it makes me sick how 3 solid pages, word for word, is exactly my experiences and my anguish. Whoo, honey. It's all looking bad. Now, no trial date has been set for Diddy yet, and he could be waiting a while behind bars. Diddy faces charges of racketeering, trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution for allegedly running a decades-long criminal enterprise that forced victims to carry out sex acts. He has pleaded not guilty to the charges. His attorney, Mark Agnifilo, said he wants the case to go to trial as soon as possible, but his team is considering the next steps following Wednesday's bail denial. So let me just tell you all what's going to happen here. And I want you all to pay attention. Hold on. Damning text messages. Diddy allegedly sent his ex Cassie following the brutal assault. Hold on. Let me see what this says. Lights up, everyone, please. Like and share. Okay, yeah, this is the part I left out. Okay, so at Wednesday's hearing, prosecutor Emily Johnson shared alleged text messages from Diddy to Ventura in a bid to strengthen her argument that he should remain behind bars after trial. While Ventura's name was not mentioned, the attack on her was referenced by the date, March 5th of 2016, which was made public by CNN earlier this year. Now, Diddy said, that's okay. After he said, call me, they got me surrounded. I mean, he said he was surrounded like he's barricaded in a hotel room or something. So anyway, Cassie said, I have a black eye, a fat lip. You are sick for thinking it's okay to do what you have done. I still have crazy bruising. So this is what Cassie texts him back. And I want you all to pay attention. This is all very relevant because, like I said, for his attorneys to sit there and try to blame it on Cassie, Diddy just told on himself in the text messages. And let's not forget these pictures. Is this the thing she was talking about? Because she said, I have a black eye and a fat lip. And here in this picture, she has both. That's why she's wearing the sunglasses. Okay? I want you all to pay attention. Diddy is low down, honey. Oh my goodness. I absolutely cannot with him. Okay, that Craig Speech Era said, I'm through, y'all. This chat is nefarious. Okay, I absolutely have to agree. Wow. Hold on. What is this right here? Video shows grim conditions. Oh my Lord, they are so wrong for this. Listen, they said video shows grim conditions inside prison where Diddy is held. A video glimpse of the grim conditions of the notorious Metropolitan Center in Brooklyn. The rapper is being held in the prison on pretrial detention. The footage obtained by Spectrum News shows cockroaches in the cereal and molding in the showers. This is all disgusting. But let's look at it. This is all nefarious, but hey, we surely don't want to miss a beat. Okay, this is all crazy. Hold on, because I had another visual about the jail too. Hold on, let me pull it up. Is this it? Hold on. Here it is right here. Okay, this is the outside of. Then I got to show y'all this with the cockroaches. So this is all crazy. I didn't even know I had this. Like up, everyone, please like and share. I'm gonna share my screen. They got Diddy. They got Diddy down bad, honey. This is awful. We shouldn't laugh. This is absolutely obnoxious. Okay, please pay attention. Honey, Diddy is sitting in jail.
Sean Diddy Combs is locked up in a federal jail that has been plagued by harsh conditions and violence. The Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn has seen multiple deaths in recent years. An inmate was stabbed to death in July, and several others have died by suicide. It's these reasons, among others, that Combs' lawyers are fighting to get him out of there. They want him released on bail rather than being kept in jail while he awaits trial on sex trafficking charges. Combs is just the latest high-profile defendant to be locked up at MDC Brooklyn. Before him, there were R. Kelly, Elaine Maxwell, and crypto scammer Sam Bankman-Fried. Maxwell complained about her treatment at the facility, which included round-the-clock checks in the wake of her associate Jeffrey Epstein's jail suicide. A few years ago, a week-long power outage in the dead of winter left detainees in drab, cold conditions. Judges have also raised alarms. They've pressed the Bureau of Prisons for status updates and implored the agency to fix things. One judge even refused to send some defendants to the jail. For now, Combs is one of about 1,200 people locked up at MDC Brooklyn. He's the highest profile detainee at a place that's been described as hell on earth.
Not hell on earth. Well, that's exactly where Diddy needs to be, honey, because that's all he's reaped is havoc and created hell on earth, okay, for many people, allegedly. With that all being said, let me just share my screen so y'all can see the cockroaches, because this is all bad, honey. This is all bad. I might have to go visit Diddy so I can get a exclusive, okay? This is all crazy.
Look, everybody's locked in.
One guy was stabbed in the eye with a makeshift knife. And these knives, again, I've never been to jail. It's my first time in jail. But these knives are 6, 9 inches long sometimes, you know, homemade with materials from the steel walls. It's very violent. There's stabbings at least a couple times a week.
A lack of medical care, to real serious sanitation issues, to maggots in the food, to violence, everything you can think about that's problematic at a jail or prison. It's problematic at the MDC, and it has been for a very long time.
So,
Damn, maggots in your food? Maggots in the food. Do y'all hear this? This is absolutely deplorable. I absolutely cannot. I absolutely cannot. So with that all being said, oh well. Let this be a lesson to you, honey. Don't do the crime if you can't do the time, is all I'm saying. Now let's go back to some of these court transcripts again. Okay, I'm gonna get back into that. And then we're gonna listen to some more of what the legal expert had to say. Like up, everyone, please like and share. Okay, let me just remember where I left off. Give me just a second. Okay. The defense is arguing that everyone in the freak off wanted to be there. That's not the law. When people are threatened with exposure and are beaten, they cannot consent. That's trafficking. Victims' heads were slammed against car windows. Okay, I read all that. Hold on. Let me go up some. Okay, I think the last part I read was when he said Cassie fled without shoes. We have messages from the victim. I still have crazy bruising. This is what Cassie said. He claims he wanted to get his clothes back, but that's not what happened here. She tried to escape a room with the defendant and a commercial SEX worker. She fled without shoes. Now, the defendant had a freak off on March the 5th of 2016. We have evidence that there was one commercial SEX worker in the room during the assault. She isn't even wearing shoes. She is in danger. Defendant storms out in a towel. The head of security has now been served with a subpoena, given what we've learned about his role in the offense conduct. Now, about the hotel assault. Yesterday, defense counsel called it a fight in a relationship, but it's actually trafficking. We seized 6 guns. They were in the defendant's home and he had access to them. We're focused on the defaced guns in the defendant's closet. This is not about security, but dangerousness. The security team is the same one that he says would monitor him. Okay, so here's the thing. Pay attention because they did say that they had guns that had been defaced. Now, why would someone deface guns? Well, I'm so glad you asked. That's what they do so the guns can be transferred to multiple people as much as they want, and it can't be traced back to anybody because these guns have likely been used in crimes. And if it's defaced, then you can't trace it back or, connect it to a crime. And so a different victim wrote saying, he said he was going to expose me with an SEX tape. I was drugged. That's just two examples. This is what AUSA says. That's just 2 examples. And so it's rich when the defendant's submission file today accuses the victim of extorting. He's the only extorter. So they're just going in on Diddy. Honey, Diddy was trying to make it like these people were extorting him, like Cassie even was extorting him. But they said, no, he's the one that was doing the extorting. Okay, so then AUSA says the defendant would record these freak-offs, at least in part, to use them to blackmail. We have an email. A victim says, you were going to make me, I'm not going to say it on the public record. It must have been very bad if he didn't want to say it on public record. He said, or you were going to leak some FO-ish. So he wouldn't say exactly what it was. Now, this is all crazy. AUSA Emily Johnson said the freak-offs were elaborate. They began in 2009 and extended into this year. These freak-offs were arranged with his entourage. The defendant used narcotics so that the victims would continue, ketamine, GHB, and others. This is all so nefarious. Sean Combs was sitting at the defense table still in a black shirt. Not the MDC tan uniform that the other prisoners will be wearing. 2 U.S. Marshals were seated behind him, waiting on Judge Andrew L. Carter. Yeah, so a lot of stuff came out in court, apparently, lots of text messages, or at least a few text messages and recordings. And they've talked to multiple witnesses who've corroborated each other with their statements. And there's no way they can convince anybody that Cassie was the aggressor or that the freak-offs were consensual. Because they absolutely have proof that that's not the case. So Diddy just went out bad, is all I'm saying. He just went out real bad. The end of the day. I don't know how they thought this was going to fly. And the mistake that his attorney made. Now, I knew his attorney wasn't making sense yesterday when he was talking, and he basically said that there was only one witness. He said these other people were, no, he said there was only one victim in the indictment, in the 14-page indictment. He said the other people were listed as witnesses, but they only had one victim because they listed that person as, labeled them as victim 1, and they didn't have a victim 2. I'm like, what is he talking about? Just because they didn't list all the witnesses or victims doesn't mean that there aren't more. Like, he's got to be crazy. I don't know what these people are thinking, but this is a shoddy job that they're doing. Okay? Shoddy job that they're doing. Like, Diddy could literally get a life sentence. But here's the thing. I want you to pay attention because his attorneys are trying so desperately to get him out of there because they don't want him to turn up like Jeffrey Epstein. Because somebody asked the district attorney, somebody asked Damian Williams. They asked him yesterday, was he concerned about something like Epstein, what happened to Epstein happening to Diddy? And he basically said that, their wish is for every prisoner to be kept safe or something along those lines. And so anyway, excuse me, now I'm going to put an overlay on the screen so you all can finish listening to what this legal expert had to say. Okay, while I continue to gather my receipts and get them in order. All right, likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance.
As well as people around him that were assisting him in this proposal.
And we're going to also get to this a little bit when we talk about the digital evidence, but how do authorities corroborate what they're being told? Is it they hear a consistent pattern over speaking to multiple people? If 5 people say the same thing, okay, unless they coordinated this, it looks like it might be true, or it looks like there might be probable cause here. Or is it also looking at their phones, looking at other evidence that was collected during the course of the raids and saying that matches up to their story? I imagine the fact that, I said this before and I'll say it again, the idea that anybody can sue anybody. I mean, you're not supposed to file frivolous lawsuits, but it seems on the outset that you have prosecutors who are believing the accounts of these accusers, at the very least, it seems Cassandra Ventura, and filing criminal charges based on those accounts. So it seems that, authorities are believing what's being told and they have the corroboration. It's not just the accounts of these people, but other evidence to back it up. Now, again, their stories might be similar, but I guess the question is, how do authorities corroborate what they're being told?
Well, the first thing, pattern is corroboration. So if you have 50 people saying the behavior was the same pattern or he took the same actions, and he's been accused. We don't know until he's seen his day in court what really happened. But that's the first level of corroboration. The second thing is apparently they seized videos from his house in California, and that's going to be extreme corroboration right there because it's going to play out right in front of them. And then the third piece of this is the digital evidence, is the text messages, is the communications that he had with these women based upon, and every one of them is likely to save those text messages on their phones and were able to get screenshots to the authorities. So it appears to me that the evidence is overwhelming.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message. This is America's border czar, and she's failed us.
Overwhelming. However, we're only going to know if it truly is overwhelming once he has his day in court.
I think it is interesting how many people were apparently interviewed. And we're not entirely sure if all the people who filed lawsuits against Sean Combs are the main accusers but it seems to me, at least from Cassandra Ventura's point of view, it seems that prosecutors have built their case based on those allegations. And I said this yesterday, and I say it today. It's one thing for somebody to sue somebody else, right? We have a lower standard. They shouldn't file frivolous lawsuits, but you have to, filing a civil lawsuit is very different than criminal charges. For prosecutors to believe these accounts and seemingly have it, people who are corroborating one another, there's a pattern there, but also maybe corroborated by the digital evidence. That is very significant that you have civil lawsuits that may have triggered a criminal prosecution.
I think that's right. I think that the civil complaints, which we saw, there were many, definitely got the ball rolling. But I would say that it was the video of Cassie, that violent incident that we saw in that hotel lobby that I guess came out of the blue, that really was what I think put the nail in the coffin. That was actually cited to in the indictment as something that they plan to use as evidence. And actually, I believe led to the enhancements that we saw on what they're seeking as far as prison time.
And essentially, he could be looking at life in prison if he's convicted across the board. I am curious, is it a clear case for you when you hear the different accounts? Because they're saying there's a lot there. They're saying he operated a criminal organization that engaged in forced labor, kidnapping, arson, violence. They're saying that it was a common purpose to protect Diddy, to satisfy his sexual desires, to make money. There's a lot thrown out there. Is this a tough case to ultimately prosecute? And then you have the sex trafficking charge. You have the transportation for purposes of prostitution charge. Is this a tough case to prosecute? Is it a clear case to prosecute?
Yeah, I think it's always a tough case, right? I think that a lot of work and evidence has gone into leading up to now in terms of bringing this indictment, in terms of having that initial hearing and sort of having him arrested and bringing these charges. However, I do think that Diddy has very competent legal counsel. I think that they have seen this probably coming for some time. I think that while this case feels like R. Kelly all over again to me, where you obviously have, sort of a video of an underage person, that was involved and introduced, I think that this has, sort of samplings of that. But I assume that the defense is going to say that he did not do this. Right? That this wasn't an organized crime syndicate that the prosecutors are accusing him of. This is a group of friends having a sex party. Yeah, it's not what you want to necessarily hear about. No one really possibly, likes it, but it is what it is. People like Diddy, people wanted to be around him, and they allow themselves to be sort of manipulated sometimes into perhaps doing things that sound unsavory when heard in the news. I think that is the crux of what the defense's sort of argument will be. And I guess the question will be, what do you believe?
Continue on with this. When agents ended up searching Combs' homes back in March, they left with a lot of evidence. There were weapons, both seemingly legal and illegal. U.S. Attorney Damian Williams showed photographs of some of them during that news conference. Here are some of the items that we recovered during the searches. As you can see here, this is a drum magazine, large capacity, and it contains, I believe, 59 rounds. I mentioned as well, we recovered 3 AR-15s. This is a close-up shot of one of the AR-15s, and you can see right here, the serial number has been thoroughly defaced. Another picture of more ammunition and parts of 2 AR-15s right there. Okay, so first let me ask you, why would someone deface weapons like this?
Well, to hide the ownership of the weapon, and so or the origin of the weapon. So depending on where he got it, he may be defacing it, or whoever defaced it. So if that weapon had been used in a crime prior to him possessing it, so that's one of the number one reasons, as well as be able to keep transferring that weapon amongst other people, because there's no way of tracing that weapon.
Were you surprised that he wasn't charged specifically with those gun charges? Remember, so it's part of the overall racketeering case. It's an example of a criminal organization, but he wasn't charged specifically, which my understanding is a federal crime, possession of a weapon that has an obliterated serial number. I think the suspect in the second attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump has been hit with that charge. Were you surprised that Combs was not hit with that?
No, because it's coming. I believe they're gonna supersede this indictment with more charges. That's generally they start with this one, kind of see how it fleshes out, and they'll determine what they need to actually add on, depending on how the evidence starts playing out amongst the people that are going to start coming forward, because they're probably looking not only to corroborate the human trafficking, but they also want to corroborate all this possession of all these firearms.
Right. And look, a little bit more about evidence here, talking about strong evidence. Apparently, investigators collected a lot of electronic data, which can be crucial in a case like this. We talked about it, but the prosecution writes in their bail letter, the electronic evidence is similarly vast. The government has sought and obtained numerous search warrants for such evidence, in addition to obtaining evidence voluntarily from certain victims and witnesses. Setting aside devices seized in connection with the government's arrest, the government has obtained over 90 cell phones, laptops, cloud storage accounts, as well as over 30 other electronic and storage devices, such as hard drives, thumb drives, cameras, and a surveillance system. This electronic data comes from the defendant himself, as well as co-conspirators, victims, and witnesses, and chronicles much of the defendant's criminal activity as it occurs. And the government also sent out subpoenas to all sorts of companies and associates connected to Combs. It says, quote, finally, the evidence includes records obtained pursuant to over 300 grand jury subpoenas and other voluntary productions. These materials come from over 100 entities.
Crime is rising. Education is worsening, and we are all less safe. A representative
And individuals, including communications providers, tech companies, social media companies, banks, and other financial institutions, airlines, hotels, car services, and other travel-related companies, escort services, and even the defendant's companies and wealth management firm. So that is a lot. What can we expect?
Well, and I believe the Homeland Security investigations are leading this investigation. And frankly, they're very good at what they do. So, and I'm sure they have a team or even a task force looking at this because the alleged criminal conspiracy is so vast and there's so many victims. So what I would expect is once they get through this evidence, the evidence, it appears to be overwhelming because you're going to see all the text messages, all of his statements that are going to incriminate himself with all of these people. And frankly, this has been going on for so long. I think there was a comfort level that he had or his circle had where they thought they weren't going to get caught. They could just continue to do this. And then frankly, the hammer fell. So there's so much here that if there was going to be a trial, it would likely be something that would take months in terms of presenting all of this evidence.
And by the way, they say that the investigation is ongoing. Is it possible that investigators are still combing through this material? It's been a while. It's been since March since they did those raids. But remember, they interviewed people. They spoke to these alleged victims. That could have been going on before or after the raids. So, I mean, do you think they're still combing through this evidence? When they say the investigation is ongoing, I think that means more people to come forward. How does it work?
Absolutely. They're going to continue to comb through that evidence. And then once they come through that evidence, that might lead to more search warrants or more subpoenas or more court orders to get cloud-based information, as well as the fact that more people are going to be coming forward, and then they're going to lead them to getting more electronic evidence. So this thing is going to go on until either there's a trial or there's a plea agreement.
And I'll just finish up with this last part, that the prosecutors, they sent to the judge before the bail hearing this attachment, Exhibit A, which was the surveillance video of Combs allegedly attacking his then girlfriend, Cassandra Ventura, in a Los Angeles hotel. And Ventura was allegedly.
Okay, I'm going to stop right there, guys. Let's get into what Faizon Love had to say. Okay, likes up, everyone, please like and share. Actually, I should just go ahead and play that because it's almost done. Okay, so we're going to listen to the rest of this and then we'll get into Faizon. It's almost done. Just a few more minutes.
Leave the hotel after a alleged freak-off session where she was apparently drugged and forced to have sex with male prostitutes. And then Combs comes running down the hallway in a towel, throws her to the ground. That's the allegation from the video. Now, the government says that this very disturbing footage is proof of Combs' temper, his violent nature. It shows how far he will go when he doesn't get what he wants. But I also think it's key. I think that's a key piece of evidence. But I also think it's important, if it was in Combs' possession, if it was found during the course of this investigation.
Now listen, because right here, the legal expert is going to reveal who leaked the footage of Cassie. Remember, I told you guys that the feds absolutely did not leak it because the feds wouldn't do that. First of all, it could compromise the case. Second of all, it could get somebody hurt or put in danger. And I felt that Cassie's attorneys did it, but it wasn't them either. Now listen to who he says did it.
That is significant because it would, I think, bolster the claim that he tried to get that footage and he tried to silence this, right?
Well, on that note, I believe somehow it was leaked from the hotel, if I remember correctly, and it was independent of him. So actually, that leads to more credibility for the evidence because it came from an independent source that had nothing to do with this. And then furthermore, he came out afterwards and apologized for his behavior and said he was in a bad place. So that apology basically was confession that it was indeed him. Now, obviously, we know it was him, but then he basically owned his behavior. So with that, he basically authenticated the video and corroborated the video with his own statement right afterwards when it was released to the media. So that video, yes, that is very damning, and I believe they attached it because it was already in the public domain. But it appears that they have more of this type of video, this behavior on video, based upon all the stuff that they seized from his houses in California and I believe in Miami.
All right, so clearly a lot to process.
Okay, so you all heard that, honey. At the end of the day, Diddy is going down. Okay, they have more footage of him beating people. They have more footage of him putting paws on people. Okay, I just want you all to pay attention. So Definitely, this is explaining why he was deemed a danger to the community. Okay? You just said exactly. All right. So anyway, with that all being said, honey, it's all nefarious. But let's hear what Faizon Love had to say, because I don't even know why he wasted his time coming out saying something. I think it's his own foolishness, I guess. But anyway, let's listen to it, because he was clearly caping for Diddy.
I need y'all to help me. We all heard about Puffy, and I see a lot of people, yay, yay, yay. I'm confused. The Cassie thing, I understand. I think you should definitely lock this nigga up. Put hands on the young lady. But I don't understand the other shit. Can y'all help me? When has being nasty been a federal crime? And I'm glad they told me. I didn't know there was a limit on baby oil. I'm getting a few, because we get ashy. But you get a massage or something or whatever. I don't know. I don't know. Please tell us the new rules for niggas. Because maybe they're not new rules, actually, because I think it was 1800s. There was this very famous boxer named Jack Johnson, and he was whooping ass. Everybody ass, but mostly white folks ass. He was whooping a lot of white folks ass. And he had a white woman, Mae West. They couldn't stop this black man. So they gave him trafficking. In the 1800s, taking a white woman across the lines was if he didn't do that, he wouldn't have stopped boxing. I thought I told you that we won't. Make it make sense. We need to know the new rules. You can't take anybody on vacation. You can't take anybody to Vegas. Damn sure don't bring them to Atlanta. I need y'all to help me because I don't know the new rules. Please tell me what was illegal.
Sorry, but this is all nefarious at the end of the day, okay? He said he needs to know what is the new rules, okay? I'm right, and Christ said he sounds crazy and guilty. Yeah, he is crazy, okay? Sitting there talking about since when is being nasty a crime. First of all, if being nasty was a crime, he'd have been in jail or prison a long time ago. Okay, he would definitely. Oh, hell no, I said, I can smell your belly sweat through the phone, and who's getting nasty with you? Patricia said, did he do his research? Y'all are terrible. I absolutely cannot. Okay. And so anyway, with that all being said, here's the thing. So they have other footage of Diddy being violent, going into fits of rage, and they really get an inside perspective on how he behaves when he doesn't get what he wants. Okay. So I'm just wondering, how many different people has he brutalized on film? This is all obnoxious. With that all being said, hold on, beloveds, because I'm going to go now to Court TV. I'm going to go to Court TV to see what they have to say about all this. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Hold on. Let's just go to a few minutes of what they have to say. This is all crazy. Likes up, everyone. Thank you in advance. Here we go.
Ecstasy, and GHB, which Combs distributed to the victims to keep them obedient and compliant. As alleged, when Combs didn't get his way, he was violent, and he subjected victims to physical, emotional, and verbal abuse so that they would participate in the freak-offs, and that Combs hit, kicked, threw objects at, and dragged victims, at times by their hair. On one occasion in March of 2016, that conduct was captured on video and later reported in the media. Those individuals.
What's going to be the key to this prosecution? What's going to be the key to this defense? Let's bring in our think tank. Joining us tonight live in studio, family law attorney Randy Kessler. Also with us, criminal defense attorney Meg Strickler, and criminal defense attorney, the man behind the glasses, Josh Schiffer. Okay. Why? I don't even want to talk to him yet about this.
I'm ready, man. I'm ready.
Oh, you got to help. Randy, what is the key here? What is the key for prosecutors to go from the world of consenting adults to coercive behavior?
Well, I think they have an easier time when it's somebody who has that much power, right? To whom much is given, much is expected. The public is going to expect more from him than the average person. I think their burden is a lot less than it is in the average case, but they're going to have to prove that he had something to do with it. You can use the words conspiracy and RICO and business associates, but the buck stops with him. And, you know, that video that we all saw.
That's the violence, right? Like the violence I get. I understand that. How do you prove the coercion,
Easy.
Meg?
The videos are going to be so easy for the federal government to prove this. I am so confident. First off, remember how many federal indictments are dismissed, how many go to trial, and how many are convicted. Look at the percentages. He is going down, and I think it's going to be easy because of the video. They searched that. They searched everything. They did a search warrant, and the defense lawyer even said there's a bunch of devices to go through. That's going to be a treasure trove for the government. Going to be easy.
That's if he actually even makes it to trial. That's a really horrible facility that he is in. And really, the names that keep going on in my head about who can be involved, these are people that care, that have lots of influence in the world. Mr. Combs existed on many planes in this world. He was business. He was entertainment. He was music. He was
the freak-offs that we're talking about here, the way they're being described, I don't know. I'm trying to get an idea of whether this is just Diddy and the person who's being coerced and abused and all the sex workers, everybody else sets it up and then he's there in the hotel, or is it him and a bunch of people?
The defense is consent, and these are all adults, and it took years.
When you say all, who are we talking about? Who do we think is in the room during
the commercial
these
sex workers?
We don't know yet. We know the commercial sex workers, but we know it's some of P. Diddy's friends. And
But
we
if
don't
they
know who
are, wouldn't they be charged?
They're gonna be
they're not
charged.
yet.
There's more indictments coming.
Yeah, this is
and
just
they're going to be turning evidence against him, right? All those people are going to come in. Why charge him? They want him.
There are 50 or 49 unidentified co-conspirators / victims / witnesses. One is specifically labeled as a victim, and we're reasonably certain who that is because of the video. The other 48 all sat down and they do these interviews, and I don't know if you've spent time getting interviewed by the feds. Every question.
But in this case, do we believe that these are people who worked for Combs?
Yes.
Right? So he's top. Or are they, and I'm not saying any names, or is it like other record producers, other, I don't know, people in politics, other millionaires?
We don't know yet, but we will.
But if there was, wouldn't they be charged?
Not yet.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
You got to squeeze them first.
Wouldn't the federal government want to put that trophy out there?
What's your
The trophy is
name?
him. He's the biggest trophy they're ever going to get. I mean, they got to get that
That's what I'm
trophy.
getting at. Is he the only one? Or, you know, because throughout the Epstein ordeal, the whole thing was about who else's name? Who else are we going to hear? I don't know if that's the case here.
Well, he got silenced, as you recall, so we weren't able to get much
Right,
information.
but that's what the story was always about. Is this story begin and end with Diddy?
No.
This is bigger.
This is
Epstein,
bigger.
Way bigger.
A lot of people didn't know who Epstein was. Everybody knows who Diddy is.
Way bigger.
Bigger in what way?
The people involved that are going to be forced out in public because there's going to be corroboration. Who was at what place when these parties were taking
Josh, I got
place?
something for you. Take a listen. Here's some of the evidence that they believe they have against Diddy.
During those searches, agents seized evidence of the crimes charged in this indictment. They seized firearms and ammunition, including 3 defaced AR-15s and a large capacity drum magazine. They also seized evidence of the freak-offs, electronic devices that contain images and videos of the freak-offs with multiple victims. And they seized cases and cases of the kinds of personal lubricant and baby oil that Combs' staff allegedly used to stock hotel rooms for the freak-offs, more than 1,000 bottles altogether.
All right, Josh Schiffer, what do you think of the evidence here? Guns, electronics, and baby oil.
Well, first off, let's just talk about guns. It is illegal to deface a firearm or to take off the identifying number, period, end of story. It's the easiest layup for any federal agent ever. Yep. They can't lose that case. You go to jail for it. Now, when it comes to the baby oil, man, he likes to buy in bulk.
That was no big deal. I don't care about the baby oil. It's the videos. It's the devices.
But we know from Epstein, those videos never come out. We know the Epstein videos are out there. They're never going to be disclosed.
They have to play the videos here to prove the case, don't they?
Because it re-victimizes people.
No, shut up. It'll come out. I disagree. It doesn't
there's so many more.
re-victimize.
People didn't.
Now, I want you all to pay attention. When he's saying that the videos will never come out, they didn't come out with Epstein, isn't that exactly what I've been telling you guys? Isn't that exactly what I've been telling you, that the videos for Epstein never came out? We never heard more about them once they were taken and removed from his residence. Okay? And then they're saying they're not gonna come out with the Diddy, but then one guy is saying that that's because it would re-victimize the victims. No. It's because they're trying to hide certain people's business, trying not to expose certain people and get them put out there. They're trying to protect certain people. That's why it's not going to come out. But please pay attention, because I just wanted to remind you guys that that's exactly what I told you. Those videos are not coming out.
Mine being seen with Diddy. A lot of people didn't want to be seen with Jeff Epstein, right? That's not who you want to be seen around, even though there were some pictures. Everybody wanted to be seen, photographed with, videoed with P. Diddy.
There's going to be some videos leaked too, I think.
Oh, yeah.
We shall see.
Quantum entanglement. That's why channeling works.
Your brain is making connections it doesn't normally make.
We're more than our physical brain.
Okay, so with that all being said, let me tell y'all something. The end of the day, Chris Brown said she is on the tapes. Who's on the tapes? Diddy needs a whole warehouse. Honey, he may have one at the end of the day. You never know with Diddy. Okay? You never know with Diddy. So this is all crazy. So we have surmised that Diddy is still in jail. He's in a very, dangerous jail. Okay? People commit self-deletion on a regular basis. There's cockroaches, maggots in the food. It's disgusting. Okay? Very deplorable conditions. And some judges absolutely refuse to even send people there. And most of all, most noteworthy is the fact that this is the same place where Jeffrey Epstein was housed. And so was Ghislaine Maxwell. And she supposedly had problems there. So I just want you all to pay attention. This is all bad, Diddy. I sure hate it for him. Okay, I sure hate it for him. They are looking on who will be continually be protected, says Miss AP. Absolutely. Okay. Y'all son said no caviar. Okay. Anyway, with that all being said, looks like Diddy's done. All right. So likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay. The Crazy Bitch Area said this chat is jumping, Queen. Honey, I know it is. Okay, so y'all get those likes up. Remember, you heard it here first. So they got numerous charges on Diddy. We have the court transcripts that I read to you. And then we got the text messages, just to give a summary for those of you coming in later who missed it. So I gave read the text messages that were exposed on Diddy and all of that. And basically, hold on. Chimerdale said should be illegal for jails to be that nasty. Shaking my head. You know it should be, beloved. It should be. It's absolutely inhumane. But this is what they have going on, okay? I heard the ones down there in Alabama are even worse, okay? Thanks for your insight to the topic and your contribution, beloved. Peace, love, and blessings. So you all get these likes up. Thank you in advance. So with that all being said, like I said, a quick summary, okay? So we talked about the transcripts, what was said in court, how his attorneys tried to play the judge, sitting up there telling lies, trying to cover for Diddy about the Kalina Harper situation, when in fact, there was no excuse for Diddy to have contacted this woman and had at least 128 communications with her. Okay, they deemed him as dangerous because they saw the video footage of Cassie. And though his lawyers tried to cover or tried to paint the narrative that Cassie was the aggressor, well, the text messages that were exposed told the story. Okay, just proved that they were lying. So now they're all looking real crazy. And then furthermore, His twins are not staying in the residence. The twins are staying with Kim Porter's best friend, Lala, and have been staying with her for a minute. And so anyway, back in California. So with that all being said, I think that's pretty much the summary of it. Oh, and they have like 49 other witnesses, okay? They have like 49 other witnesses that they have spoken with already. Remember, they said 49 witnesses and one victim. And of course, the victim is Cassie. We already know that. And the insider said that Cassie was terrified and she's been going through a lot in the past year. Okay, her husband's been her pillar of support. And then so they said that Diddy, and here's where the lawyers really messed up. When they told the judge that Diddy was having those FOs, the freak offs, and that it was consensual, like there was nothing wrong with it. And the judge said, weren't there third parties involved, the SEX workers? Okay, and that's trafficking. Isn't that trafficking? Right? So, and then they tried to say, the lawyers tried to say, no, he wasn't having relations with them. I called the agency. We spoke to the agency and they said they don't have SEX, please. Why are they called SEX workers? Okay, it's all crazy. All right, so anyway, like up, everyone, please like and share on your way out. Thank you so much for tuning in, okay? You all know I'll keep you informed with the latest updates on the Diddy debacle, all right? So keep your notifications on. With that all being said, for those of you who follow the backup channel, I will be going live on there in about 30 minutes, okay? Queen, did you see where Biden wore a MAGA hat? Yeah, I talked about that days ago. He traded hats with someone, beloved. Yes, I absolutely saw that. He's so ridiculous, okay? All right, so with that all been said, I love you all to life. Don't forget, for those of you on the backup channel, listen, we got to talk about that 14-year-old girl who killed her mom. We're going to have inside look at the court case, talk about that, and a couple of other nefarious stories. Okay, so make sure you all tune in. I'm going live on there in like 30 minutes, all right? And so love you all to life. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. All right? Peace.
Hey, yo, Nick, hit him with that flavor. Sold all in my skin. God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther. Shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people. I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations. America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. That's See right. A bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got